Okay. Happy October. That's where we are today. Good to be here with you here in the fall. We are pretty much into the fall now. As the calendar, you start to fall off the end of the year. And then just bam, you just land right there in Santa's arms over there. Around December 25th, baby. That's where we at. I got some new I did get some new glasses, I guess. They're new to me. I don't know. I'm sure they weren't used or whatever. They're B+, I guess. My vision is B+, or some B12. What is it? I don't know. They're pretty good, I guess. It helps me read. I didn't know I needed glasses, and then I guess, I don't know if I was in like a dark restaurant or whatever. Next thing you know, I'm at the eye shop and I got these bitches, baby. And so I'm enjoying them, I think. I will say this. I don't know. Some people I can't see anymore. So it's kind of, I'm not saying these things are making racial choices for me, but they're definitely, these things don't want to get a good look at everybody, So I may have to mail them back. I'm not sure. But I'm running on about an 8-foot radius or whatever, 12-foot radius maybe in these. So if you want, get close if you need me, But yeah, because my short sight was getting kind of rocky. I'd go in for a hug and I'd miss that bitch. I'd be like, damn. You'd go in to hug somebody and hug the wrong person. You're like, who's that? That's somebody's damn husband or something. You don't even, you go in to hug a decent woman and you end up over there, you just up near some man's neck or something. So I think getting your visual is important. And so that's kind of what I'm, I guess, doing. I got to get, I think these bitches are B or B+. I don't know what, I got to look at the package or whatever. I got these bitches online. They just wrote the size of them on the back or something. I think it was like 3842 or I don't know. I got to look and see. I got a fucking kind of a big head. What else? Thank you guys for being here. The Circus is coming to town. I just saw that. I don't know if there's any circus lovers, but the Circus is back. And when I was a child, the Circus was a big thing. You had a couple times throughout the year, you'd get this little ticket at school and it'd say on it Circus at the top. And it'd say like Willie's Circus, or Risky Rick's Circus, And it would say like admit one, just on this ticket, you could get it anywhere. So they were just giving out free tickets, And it would be like, this petting zoo fucking rocks, it would say, or something like that on the back. Or where petting zoos go to fuck. It would say shit like, that's a lot. But it was a big deal back then when the Circus came. Because you'd see them setting up in that big top, that tent. And they'd wheel all animals in there. And some of the animals, they'd been through a lot. They looked like they'd maybe just got back from war or something, World War II or something. Some of them missing an ear, or have a fake ear. They'd have an elephant, but then one of his ears, they'd have just two, they'd put a damn potted plant in the hole over there, and he'd have a damn elephant ear plant growing out of the side, and they'd paint that bitch gray over there. You'd see a guy on a ladder just painting that elephant, just painting a big plant ear gray, just trying to line it all up, and they put a big bow tie on him, call him Big Ginger or whatever. Spray paint red hair on his back. It was just, you'd see a giraffe, but that bitch had a short neck on him. You're like, God. You'd see a damn giraffe, he was 4'4", and that bitch was just, pissed too. Pissed. It almost looked like if you tickled him the right way, his neck would just, get to the right size. He was just like that wide neck. Remember that fella Wide Neck that was running around? He was a, kind of an African-American, like, running back that only played drugs or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have a sport. And that was the Circus, and it meant something. You were excited about it. And you'd talk about it at school, and you'd go over there. And I just saw the flyer that a new one, it was called the Circus. It's like it kind of had looked like a Cirque du Soleil circus kind of, it just looked like a rave for children kind of. They had a couple damn drones out there. Palantir just shooting popcorn in the kids' mouths and stuff. Just, it had a different sort of etiquette to it. And I don't even know if they had any animals. They had a couple of kind of gender-neutral dudes just kind of whistling in each other's mouths type of deal. They had a blind fella just singing Fred Again lyrics and stuff. It's just gotten very progressive. It feels like the circus. They used to have real animals. You'd go out there, you'd see a couple monkeys out there. And you're over there and one of them be smoking for you. And they, you get you 50 cents over there. Go visit that smoking monkey. See if he'll ash on your mama's back, or something. And they had long arms. They'd ash in a baby carriage or something like that. It was, it was more involved. They let the animals live a little. And they used to have real lions too. They'd have, they had back then they had real lions. Now you got a couple of hardy women over there wearing Aiden Hutchinson jerseys, and just complaining that their breasts are too big. Now they got a gluten-free concession stand. Just the peanut allergies. They got that. So it's, back in the day, they had a dude, you would find a dude at the circus with a peanut allergy. They would find that dude. They would give him a couple handfuls of peanuts and then send that bitch running through a ring of fire, baby. While people in the crowd sang, "For those about to rock." Now it's just, they find a dude with a peanut allergy, right? They put him in a hazmat suit. They have him run and jump through a ring of peanuts into his two mothers' arms. So I'm just saying, it's just a different time, man. It's just a different time. And that's what time does. It keeps making things different, doesn't it? Man, time does not like to wear the same outfit, baby. That's the truth. Time likes every minute just freshly ironed, baby, right out the package. Time is just, it likes to feel brand new, baby. But God, that circus was fun. You go over there, and sometimes some of the circus workers, they just set themselves on fire and just collect damn workman's comp right there, right in front of you. Fuck. People would cheer and just God and just pray. So yeah, it was just a different time, man. That's the circus. That's the circus. It's back. And we had a circus last week in New York, in New York City. And I want to talk about that. I want to just go through it because there's like a lot of stuff out there, speculation and all of that. And I want to just get super clear on it, right? Because I think a lot of people don't know like what went on. And it wasn't that crazy what went on. And I wish it was going to be a more exciting story. But I just want to, I just want to share with you kind of what happened, I guess. And I don't want to make it a big deal, but I think, but I do want to like just kind of go into it, right? So mental health is important to me, right? It's important to me. We talk about that kind of stuff on here a lot. And hold on. And yeah, I think it's been something that we talk about a great deal and just think about and kind of explore, right? So I had a comedy special that we were taping. We were taping it last week, and about a month before I quit taking some antidepressants I was taking. I just kind of self-weaned myself off. And the reason why was because I wanted, like during the comedy show, I wanted to have a little bit more emotion during it. I wanted to have this kind of like, I just wanted to have some more feelings. If you ever taken antidepressants or if you haven't, it kind of takes away your feelings, kind of. So you just kind of stay in this space where you're okay. And it's nice. It's a safe space, but you don't, you're like the astronaut that kind of stays on the ship sometimes. And you get to do the thumbs up and shit, but other dudes are like, other people are out there. Anyway, so I quit taking my medication because I wanted to have a little bit more feelings during the show. I wanted to be able to talk about stuff a little bit more that meant something to me and put it into the comedy show. So that was all going fine, right? I was doing fine with that. We're headed into the comedy show, and then the Charlie Kirk thing happened, right? The Charlie Kirk murder happened, which was really crazy. It was just a crazy thing. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to talk about it anymore right now. But a few days after that, or maybe a week after that, the Department of Homeland Security put a video up online talking about they started making like trap beat edits and like banger edits to evicting people from the country, right? Or eliminating illegals, maybe some criminals, some people just undocumented, all, just across the spectrum, right? So they put a video of mine that I'd made for somebody in a parking lot, probably like maybe a year and a half ago, just jokingly. I think it was a year and a half ago. They put it in at the front of this Department of Homeland Security, like trap beat. I think they had like, I'm not sure if they had like young boy lyrics or whatever they had, but it was ridiculous. And the video was a girl had walked up to me in a parking lot and she had said, "Hey, my friend just got deported. What do you have to say? Do you have a message?" I can't remember what it was. And I was just like, "Bye." And I didn't know if it was real or not. I had no idea. I was just joking around. It's a stranger came up to me in a parking lot. I think it was after a show and there were some people gathered around and we were just kind of like BSing and taking pictures and just kind of associating, right? So anyway, long story short, that happens. So this video goes mega viral, 25 million, 30 million views. It's everywhere. And the front of of that Homeland Security video, it's on the White House thing. It's on everything. It's everywhere. And the first 10 seconds of it are me, right? Like, I don't have anything to do with this shit. Nobody asked me about it. Like nobody said, "Hey, this is going to happen." Like, and I have a lot of different thoughts about immigration, right? They're like showing people getting arrested. Like, it's just an intense thing. Like, and why is the government even making these? I don't know. But that's where we're at in the world. And I have a lot of thoughts about immigration, right? I have a ton of them. And we don't need to go into them all right now. I've talked about them on other episodes. I feel like they're doing a lot of bookkeeping in the country right now because we're going to get into a surveillance state and everyone is going to have to be on the books, right? So that's where I believe that we're headed. But this was just wild, and people are like sending messages and like hateful stuff. And, you think all these illegals should, and all this type of shit. And like, I could talk to you ad nauseum about that, but this wasn't the time for it. It just was something that they used and put out there and everybody saw, right? So I'm getting a ton of hateful stuff and I'm trying to remember everything. I'm trying to kind of remember everything right now. And, but this video goes everywhere and I'm getting like a lot of like, dude, what the fuck? Just all kind of shit, right? Like my phone just blew. I'm like, what the hell? It's just like the last thing I needed, right? There's a week left to this special. And this happens, this thing comes out. And my father immigrated here from Nicaragua, right? Like one of my prized possessions is I have his immigration papers when he came here. And I have them in a frame and him and his siblings when they came here. And so I have tons of thoughts about it, but this was just fucked up, right? It was fucked up. And it was everywhere. It was like on all platforms and stuff. So that had me really kind of paranoid. That had me start to get kind of paranoid and, like closing, like, I had the curtains in my house kind of closed. I was just like, you're paranoid. I woke up the next morning. Sorry, I need some water. I woke up the next morning to a text from a high government official saying, "Hey, if you need some extra security in your neighborhood or some extra police cars on patrol, let me know." And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Extra security. I don't have any, like, I don't even know the code to my Ring camera. Like, I don't even know how to log in. So it's like, and like, what, you're just going to put police cars in my neighborhood? What are my neighbors going to think? Now they're fearful. Like, it just like, I don't know, man. That like really kind of shook me. It really kind of shook me. But you keep marching on, and you start getting security. And then now you have security, right? And the thing is, you just don't know. You just don't know. Right? There was a moment on it was White House, because the White House also put this out. Thank you, White House. And look, I'm all for like the board. I'm all for tighter borders. I'm all for like accurate knowing who's on. I'm all for knowing who is in a country. I'm all for knowing what's in the cupboard of a society. I think you should know every item on the log. I think it should be known, right? I do. Now, how do you get there? That's the bigger question. And we don't have to discuss that today, right? It's not about that. And sorry, I'm going slow here. I'm trying to piece this together. So now I have this thing with security, but then you get a security person and if you're walking on a security guy, then that's kind of uncomfortable. Because now you're like, it kind of makes you spooked. You're like, well, what's going on? So there's just like all of that's happening. And then we get to just the job, right? Like, which is performing, speaking in front of strangers. Like, you had just seen this thing with Charlie Kirk, right? It's like we all watch somebody get lit up. We all watch somebody get murdered casually on our phones, right? Like, and I don't mean to say it like that, but that's how it came across to us. There's no warning on a lot of video you see, and like, so just a lot of, I think, unnecessary pressure, a lot of stress going on that I did. Some of it I was aware of, and some of it you just don't know you're aware of it, I think. Because I think like you just, sometimes you don't know what stress you're holding. One day there was I got a call from a friend of mine, and they said they were going into rehab, and I just started bawling, right? And I didn't realize that there was a part of me that was waiting to hear that from them, and that it really made me feel some type of way, So sometimes it's like you just don't know what stresses you're holding. Anyway, so we get to the shows, right? We're there, and it's a lot, It's a lot. There's a lot of like last minute choices to be made. It seemed to go messier than the past specials that I'd taped, right? It seemed to be a lot more confusion, and it all could have been just kind of my perception, right? Because what started to happen was on this day, I was starting to feel a little bit like, I don't know if manic is the word. I don't know what manic means. I've said manic, but I don't manic meaning. Let me see. What does it mean when someone is manic? Oh, it says trying to meet mans. That's the first one. Like, this is fucking, see, this is how bad shit's gotten. You're trying to figure out if you have some sort of an anxiety disorder. And next thing you know, you're getting damn emails from a local men's bar or whatever. It is defined as an extremely unstable, euphoric, or irritable mood along with an excessive activity or energy level. Okay. Excessively rapid thought and speech. I probably could have used a little more of that. So I think I started to feel kind of mildly manic. I think it was just being off the medication. I think, and it wasn't insane. It was just little things. Like the second I got on stage, the first show, I couldn't feel any moisture in my mouth. And I started to feel like, you ever remember that feeling if you were in high school and you got high and then you were standing there talking to your friends and you were just too high and you were just literally standing there just trying to pretending to be yourself a little bit? So I had a little bit of that going on. And it started off choppy. The first show, it started off kind of choppy. We were doing like a new intro with Joey Diaz at the last minute, and he was pretty goomed up. He's Coco. And it was a blessing that he was there, but we hadn't ran through it. And so it just like a lot of like things at the last minute. But yeah, I'm on stage, and the second half of the first show went good. And there were some beats that I got that had like an emotional piece to them that I wanted, and that felt exciting. But the whole show, it was there were parts where I just couldn't remember the next thing. I couldn't remember like my next sequence. Like I was having trouble just keeping track of stuff. And that's when I really was like, oh man, I'm just off tonight. You know, I just, you know, it had just like, I'm just off tonight. And I think I remember saying to the audience, like, thank you guys just for being here for me, you know, like, and the audience was cool, man. People were happy to be there. They were super stoked when I came out. I started to feel bad that I wasn't giving them the best show, but the show ended up going a little bit long, blah, blah, blah. We get to halftime or in between the two shows, and Chris Rock is backstage. He's there. My favorite, right? Like, I mean, I see Chris Rock smile and you just feel like it's going to be good. You know, it's almost like when, you know, somebody that was good in class at making a good joke, and then you see him and you're like, oh, the Michael Jordan has arrived, you know, like that thing, like, so anyway, seeing him, and it kind of like, I was like almost way so excited about seeing him. Like I was very excited, but then I realized I was kind of overexcited. He enjoyed the show, you know, and so I went into the second show feeling like, okay, I got to figure some of this out. I couldn't tell if people were like being like legit, like, okay, was it good? Was it bad? What was going on? And then I took an ice bath between the shows. I was doing my yoga, the same usual stuff I do. Anyway, sorry, I know this is getting long, but, and then we did the second show, and the second show started out fire. First 22 minutes, we're cooking. And then I couldn't remember stuff. And we didn't put a teleprompter. We've done it for other specials. We didn't do it. And that was a bad choice. I don't know if I probably made the choice for sure. I don't remember. But so I had to ask for help. You know, I was like having to ask off stage because I wanted to get everything in sequence. You know, and I think I got stuck on this like sequence thing, and it was just hard, man. It just, you know, I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was trying to kind of pretend to be myself. And it wasn't insane or extreme. That was it. And we got to the end of the show, and we were standing around afterwards with the producers and the director, my friend Kevin, and just like, did we get it? You know, did we get it? Excuse me. Did we get it good enough? You know, because I want this special to be, you do the material for so long. And my buddy Neil Brennan said this the other day before it. He said, I got hair in my eyes today. He said, dude, this is the last time you'll ever spend with this material. You know, it's really the last time you'll probably ever do it. And this material's it's been a friend to me over the years. It's been, you know, it's taken me around the world. You know, it's gotten me to see a lot of people that love me and that I love. So that was just a neat sentiment of a way to like embrace the material and stuff. But I was just at the end of the night, I was like, I don't know if we got it. And they're like, yeah, well, let's edit together something and see. And I was like, okay, but I couldn't feel the magic, you know, I just was off. And that was it. We left the show, we left the theater. We took pictures. I went up by the stage at the end of each show and was like taking pictures of people that were sitting there. And that's when some girl, there was a clip of me, which I think this is what made things ridiculous. Where in passing, I just was like, or I don't know if it was in passing. I haven't seen the clip, honestly, and I haven't been online. I woke up the next day to like a bunch of things like, bro, what's up? Or things like that. And I was like, oh my God, you know, what's going on? Like, did I steal somebody's horse? Did I hit somebody with a vehicle? You know, I have no idea. You know, it was just kind of alarming. And then a buddy of mine sent me a clip and I could just see the outside. And it was like, you could see me on stage. And then people were asking me about suicide. And I was like, oh God, you know. And I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I can certainly see me saying something like, oh, just try not to take my own life, which I understand it's not a joke to some people, right? It's not a joke to me. But it is something that I'll say stuff sometimes. I say stuff, right? You know that. If you've listened to this show before or seen anything, I say stuff. I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel? I would never take my own life. I'm grateful to God for his grace in my life. I love my siblings. I have so many friends and people that love me and people that I want to see their children grow up. I'm hopeful that I get to have a wife and meet my own children one day. Like, there's a ton of things in my life that keep me alive and hopeful, right? I want to be able to have an impact in the world. Those are just a few of them, probably, so many just moments we've shared on this show that I'm like, oh, I live for those things, I want to see Vandy win a championship. So I'm going to have to be alive for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. But anyway, that was, so I woke up to that and I was like, oh man. And I guess I had like a lot of different, in addition to that, people wrote articles, oh, this is bad. And look, it wasn't great. I didn't love it. And I had a lot of people that said it was great, though. Like, I had people say, dude, we loved it. It was great. So, but I didn't think it was perfect, for sure. But I thought, let's just look at the edit and see. And so we still haven't decided. We might shoot again at some point. I don't know what's going to go on. But there was just this energy now where it was like everybody started checking on me. And I was like, oh, man, this is tough. And there's people that would think like, oh, well, he failed, or who want to write up something that says he failed or make a meme. I saw one thing, it said bombs Netflix or whatever, taping or whatever. Awesome. Thank you, dude. But homie, I was fucking in that bitch, cuz. You should have seen me, dog. You should have seen me. You ever see that show, dog? And a lot of times you'll see that dog show. And it's that Westminster. I think it's Westminster. The Westminster dog show. You see that bitch, boy. And they got some dogs in that bitch. And then they got that other, bruh. They got that other little, this bitch is just a little thoughtweiler, this bitch, They got that little male thoughtweiler rolling up. You're like, damn, that little bit. He got a little, maybe an anklet on or something. Maybe he got a house arrest bracelet on his tail, but that bitch is in there. And they're like, damn, he ain't supposed to be here. But he's over there. He's listening to DMX. We ride here. And all the other dogs got all them crazy tricks, and he just he'll gamble on his phone real quick or do something like that. Or he'll fucking run a parlay or something on his phone. And that's his trick. And he'll smoke a Virginia Slim right there and hit that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what I'm saying is, bitch, I'm out there. I'm in the ring, bro. And I failed so many times. You could write what you want, big dog. Write what you want. It wasn't perfect, man. I'll agree to that. And if I've gotten so used to times I have failed, it's okay. I eat failure for breakfast, but you fill me up with failure flakes over the years, kids. And it's okay, man. That's part of the job. The first 10 years of doing comedy is failure. So much of my life, the best things that have ever happened on my life have been on the other side of failure. And yeah, it would be great if one day we could all live in a space where we lived in a neighborhood where everybody, when they went out in the world, they was potentially going to fail, boy. We riding right on the edge, baby. you know, and that we admired that about each other. So anyway, I'm not looking to like downplay it or make it, you know, we might reshoot it again. We'll see what happens. And that's it, you know, cause if you're not on that risk of failing, I don't know what I'm gonna be. If I'm not on that risk of failing, I don't know what I'm gonna be. It's like a bulb, you know, a plant bulb. If you saw like a plant bulb is kind of brave, right? Like a floral bulb, right? Because if he just stays a bulb, he's just that little green little monster, right? That little nugget. But when he blasts open, he don't know what he's gonna get out that bitch, bro. He might be a rose, he might be a daffodil, brother. He might be a damn succubus or whatever. He might be a gladiola. You don't know. When you pop that top, what you gonna get out of yourself. Imagine you walk through the woods and all the flowers are just loped out. They all just in hiding, bro. They're all in witness protection program bulbs. But nah, they took that shot. Pow, bitch. So anyway, I don't know if I'm rambling or just fluffing my own ego. But so that was it, man. And there was a video about, you know, so that stuff happened, but then the thing that like made everything hectic was someone recorded a video of me making a passive comment, joking around about suicide, and I didn't even mean to. I didn't know people were recording me at that time. I don't think that they are anymore, and I think I got to evolve in my own head that that's how things are now. So. And another thing that happened, I didn't even tell anybody this, but I went to the doctors like a couple weeks ago. This was like, I think 2 days after the Charlie Kirk shooting. I went to the doctors, and I'm in the doctor room, and it's just me and a nurse. And she comes in, and I'm talking about, you know, I got to get a checkup and everything where they do your nuts or whatever, you know. And so we're talking about body and everything, and talking about genitals or whatever, right? And body. And so we have this conversation, and then the nurse, she says, hey, I brought something for you. And I'm like, huh? And she's like, I brought something for you. And it really spooked me, bro, because I'm in a doctor's office, right? This is a place where you think you can be safe. And man, that was a tough moment. My mom was in town, and after that, I remember sitting in my car with her, and I kind of got a little teared up because I was like, oh man, no place is kind of safe anymore, you know? And the girl just wanted to do something nice, right? I think she wanted to give me something, I don't know. But it was just that invasiveness of like, man, this is like supposed to be a very private place. And I mentioned it to the doctor. And then I even, you know, I made sure that the nurse didn't feel like bad. You know, she's just trying to be a nice person. You know, I believe that her motives were in a good place. I don't hold any ill will against her. But it was just like, I don't know, there was just a lot of little things that were adding up to stress. And so, yeah, that's what happened. And it's just been like, I've had so many people reach out. So thank you so much. I've had so many people say nice things. I can't believe, like, to me, it felt very kind of like in passing. And then I was just kind of burnt out. But just know that I'm never at a place like that. You know, I'm far from a place like that. You know, there may have been times when I was a kid or something where I had some negative, you know, some stuff was scary. But yeah, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. You're going to be here. And we're going to be here together like we always been. And that was it. There was nothing else to the evening. We tried like to really keep things together. There was no drug issue. There was no like, I mean, when Coco showed up, there was smoke and you know, it's like, but there was no, there wasn't like, it was just, there was just like, just the fuse was short going into it. The fuse was short going into it. I remember right when we got to the theater, some guy was supposed to show me to my dressing room. He took me on like a 7-minute journey out into the fucking caverns of some building. I don't even know where we were. We were like, there was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles there. And I was like, oh, fuck, I could feel my fuse being pretty low. But I still tried. I think they're looking back, maybe I should have like pulled the cord. I don't know though. You don't kind of know until you know where you are, and so I don't think I would have done anything different. I made all the choices. I didn't realize how much stress I had, and that's it. But I do want to say this about suicide, right? Like, a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, years ago, his sister was dealing with a lot of stuff. She was dealing with a lot of stuff. And she couldn't say, she was having trouble talking about it. Like, she was having trouble talking about it. She didn't want to bother people. And she finally told a member of their family, and they didn't want to worry everybody in the family with it. And so they kind of told the rest of the family that she had mono, and so she was suffering. And then, like within a year, she had taken her own life, right? She just couldn't handle where she was at. And I think and I just want to say her name, Christiane, and just let her know that people think of her and that her brothers love her, and that she's an angel out in the universe keeping tabs on people. And that's a beautiful thing. But I think about that story from my buddy sometimes, and it's like I think people get stuck in a space where like, yeah, I'm going to bother somebody or I've already told my friends so many times and I'm not doing good. None of that stuff matters. It's like, however you have to speak up about something if you have to, I think it's worth trying more, and I don't know if that means anything. I'm just saying, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I think I just wanted to just have a moment and just let it be known that that young lady is missed. I think maybe that's something that I just wanted to think about out loud. And that however you have to say something, say it. But I was just joking, man, and I know it's not something to joke about, and I get that, and I appreciate all like the beautiful concern and the thank yous and like just the outpouring. I just started to feel like, God, I don't even know how to tell everybody that I was just joking. And I joke about some dark stuff sometimes, and I joke about everything, and I think that's what makes you able to do comedy sometimes. I don't know. I don't want to like look at myself too much like that because that gets kind of ego-y, but yeah, I'll be here forever. And we got to see how this fucking circus goes, We got to see how this short giraffe balls out. So I love you. And thank you for loving me. It would take me forever to thank everybody for the nice messages. It really would. But gosh, I'm fine. Don't treat me weird. Don't be weird. I'm not weird. I'm chill. You're good. We riding, bruh. Type shit, boy. Let's get to a few calls that came in here. And maybe we'll keep it in this space. Let me see what we got right here. Here's one right here. Let's get to it. I've always had a money goal. Have me a goal, get me some money, achieve that goal. That's been it. I wanted to go to Antarctica or Antarctica. That's what I used to think it was called. And it sounded more tropical when you say it like that. But later I found out it was freezing and you're not allowed, so had to change it up. But what I'm talking about is having a money goal. Acorns helps you grow towards the money goals you have today and the ones you'll have tomorrow. Acorns makes it easy to start doing more with your money. In fact, you can start automatically investing with just your spare change. I just got my nephew set up, so his spare change is accumulating while he's just doing his little life. Sign up now and join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Plus, Acorns will boost your new account with a $20 bonus investment. Offer available at acorns.com/THEO. That's ACORNS.com/Theo to get your $20 bonus investment today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provided. Incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 2 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/THEO. You know, sometimes I feel like my brain just kind of leaves the building. Just on it, just phew, like a school child at 3 p.m. They hear that bell. Whoo, boy. And when my brain starts to check out, you got to ask yourself, do I get me another coffee? What do I do? Do I have somebody tickle me? What do I do? There's a new option. That's Neuro Gum and Mints. Neuro gives you clean, focused energy without the crash, sugar, or sketchy ingredients. For me, it's the easiest upgrade I've made to my routine, swapping in the Neuro. Because I like gum. I like having me something in my mouth. I like my mouth staying busy and just ocupado. That's Spanish for busy. Neuro Energy and Focus is powered by natural green tea caffeine, L-theanine for calm focus, and vitamin B12 and B6 for better mood and metabolism. They've also got caffeine-free options, memory and focus gum with American ginseng. Yeah! That's a mental bump without the jitters right there. They've also got sleep and recharge mints with melatonin and chamomile. Helps you wind down at night without gummies that taste like melted Jolly Ranchers. For a limited time, you can get 20% off your first order at neurogum.com by using code Theo. That's neurogum.com and use code THEO for 20% off your first order. You can also find Neuro at CVS and Amazon. You know, I've noticed over the years of how much it takes to make something go. You know, you can't just put a steering wheel and tie it to a couple wheels and then you got an automobile. You can't just put a business idea and open a website and then you got a business. You got to put in the time. And I remember when we started podcasting, we wanted to have a merch shop so somebody could get them a little item, a little tank top, little tankini or something to support the brand. But things started to get busy and the growth was outpacing the attention we were giving it. And we needed help. Thankfully, ShipStation was there. ShipStation centralizes your shipping tasks into one easy platform, and their rate browser automatically finds you the best rates across more than 200 carriers at discounts up to 90%. That's right, and you can automate repetitive or tedious tasks to save time and reduce errors. You can even create custom automations just for your workflow. Upgrade to the shipping software that does more than keep up with your business. ShipStation propels it forward. Start your 60-day free trial at shipstation.com/THEO. That's shipstation.com/Theo. As always, you know this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, I've needed help. We've all needed it. I've gotten it on and off over the years. I've gotten it at times. I've gotten it from BetterHelp themselves. I remember I was out there driving. I was on an S-curve, and it was just too much. I was in a 4-speed or maybe a 3-speed Ford Escort. I couldn't handle it. Had to pull over and just call, God, I need some help. And bam, there they were, BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who've helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/THEO. That's betterhelp.com/Theo. Here's one right here. Let's get to it.
Theo, my name is Tom, man. I've called a number of times.
What's up, Tom, brother? Thank you for calling, man. Well, thank you for calling back. Onward.
I just want to thank you again for everything that you do, just for being real, for not being too good for anybody. And this hotline, bro, I'm sure it means a lot to a lot of people. I lost my son a year and a half ago to suicide. And it was tough, man. I still have nightmares and visions of just seeing that, finding that, and I don't know, man, it's hard to talk about, but I found your show about, I'd say 4 months after that happened. And when I tell you that you gave me a reason to laugh for the first time since it happened, you did, bro. And I got to say that being an addict and being clean for the last 5.5 years, it would have been real easy to use as an excuse to go back. But I didn't. And I truly believe that God, number one, and just being able to laugh again kept me free. And I feel like honestly saved my life, brother. And I appreciate it. I love you. I love what you do. Thank you for everything.
Praise God, man. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, brother. I'm so sorry to hear about your son. I bet he misses you, and I bet he loves you. And they may not even have feelings over there where you miss people. I bet it's just pure love. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't even. There's not a word I could give you, except that I'm happy to hear your voice today, and thanks. Thank you for letting me be a part of your laughter. Sometimes when I'm like in pain and stuff, I won't even let people make me laugh. Kind of, it's like, that stuff when you're like young or something's rough and you want to laugh, and it's like, you won't let somebody make you laugh. It's like almost out of posterity and stuff. But man, thank you, bro. Thank you just for sharing that story today and for letting us have a moment to remember him. I don't even know what he looks like, but I'm just going to remember a sweet soul that loved his father and that was trying his best in the world. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. He feels like a neat kid. So thank you so much, Tom, for sharing that with us today. Let's hear another call. We'll take one more here. What do we got here?
Hey, what's up, Theo? My name is Lane.
What's up, Lane, baby? And you hear a lot about that Lane, baby. The HOV lane, brother, that threesome, huh? Let's hear more about it.
And I just want to call in and give my son a shout out. His name is Theo. He's 3 years old, and he's finishing chemo for the second time. And I just want to
Let's go. Let me catch his name again.
I just want to call in and give my son a shout out. His name is Theo. He's 3 years old, and he's finishing chemo for the second time. And I just want to ask for a prayer, brother. A prayer that shit don't come back. Prayer from the community. And shout out to my wife for holding us down through this hard time. And I want to speak into existence that, fuck it, I'm going to do some stand-up comedy. You've been a big inspiration, so shout out to you too, Theo. Peace.
Oh, well, thank you for the call, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm sorry. I'm glad your son is being a warrior. I'm glad you're here speaking prayer towards your son. I'm glad you're requesting prayer. I'm glad that you're reminding us it's okay to call others and ask for prayer and ask for energy. God, we forget that. I forget that all the time. I'll say a prayer right now. God, we lift up Mateo to you, and just keep his smile hopeful, and keep him cancer free, God, and let him have the joy that he wants in the world, and we lift up his mother to you, God, and just all the energy you continue to give her, and all the mothers out there who have to deal with children who are suffering with illnesses. Man, that can be a heavy burden. And we give thanks, God, that in witnessing other people triumph and witnessing this man witnessing his young son battle through chemotherapy, that it inspires him to go out and do things, that inspires him to take on things that, like if he wants to do comedy or he wants to sing or he wants to do a backflip online or whatever he wants to do, that it inspires him, that it pushes him through any potential failure, because failure is just a little bit of bootleg fear. That's all that shit is. That's all that shit. That's aftermarket fear, cut. But God, we lift him up, man. Man, it's inspiring. Isn't it inspiring to see a little 3-year-old fella out there waddling around ringing that cancer-free bell out there? Him and Randy Moss out there ringing that bitch. That's beautiful, man. And I lift up my buddy MK, man. There's a friend of mine named MK, and his wife and their family is dealing with a lot of tragedy right now. Their brother, her brother got shot. And I don't know even the situation right now, but yeah, I just want to lift him up, God, and just let his heart know that he's not alone, and let her heart know and her brother's heart know that they're not alone, that people are thinking of them. And yeah. So in your name we pray, amen, man. I think we did pretty good today. This is as good as I can do today, guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate, again, all the warm messages. I'm sorry I rambled a lot about what happened in New York City, but I wanted to take a few days to kind of digest it, because it was all out of my it wasn't all out of my control, but there was a lot of stuff going on. I'm like, some of this is real, some of this is not. And I don't like to take any action when I'm a little bit tired, So I want to thank the people that did come out to the show, and it was what it was. It was what it was, boy. At that Wee Smith stuff, bruh. No, but thank you to anybody that's come out to my show. Thank you to anybody that's just been supportive, that's been a part of this group. We're good. We're good here. We're good here. So I just want you to know that wholeheartedly. I'm not here. We're good here, and I'm looking forward to actually taking some time off. I just want to do things that are fun for me. I want to spend time around my friends and stuff like that. And then at the same time, I got to get a little bit of space. Sometimes I spend so much time like on my phone, these things like just texting, so many things that are just kind of like, I just want to be able to have a little bit of peace for myself, and I deserve it. Right? And I deserve it. We all deserve it. And so, yeah, I want to thank everybody for their calls. I want to thank everybody for their care. I want to thank everybody for their calls, sharing their own words and stories and on the hotline. And I did get back on my medication. I want people to know that. I'm not worried about that kind of stuff. And maybe one day I'll be able to be off of it. I'm going to make sure that I work with a doctor if I think about that again. But one day it would be nice to, be able to kind of have all your feelings, in a manageable way, and to have all of your feelings, So, all right. Thank you guys so much. And, man, we got a lot of life to look forward to. I believe that, and I know you do too. And yeah, you guys be good to yourselves. I'm going to do the same thing, okay? I promise. All right? I'm upstairs. Gang, baby.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh,